Senate Republicans say they are coming up with a new version of the health care bill, and their scramble comes as pro-life advocates work behind the scenes to protect the unborn. Right now, the bill would defund Planned Parenthood for 1 year and ban tax credits from covering abortion. Capitol Hill correspondent Jason Calvi has the latest on pro-life negotiations. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Lauren. The Senate Majority Leader is conducting nonstop negotiations. His goal is to strike a compromise by Friday after having to delay the vote. The president, who describes himself as pro-life, says the Republican health care effort, in his words, is working along very well.
I think we're going to get it over the line. There was a great feeling in that room yesterday.
President Trump says it will be tough, but the GOP will deliver after meeting with Republican senators. The group included an opponent of the current bill, Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who spoke with me today.
The opposition comes from various quarters, and ideological spectrum is really wide. So it's going to be a challenge, but I never underestimate Senator McConnell's ability to bring people together.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says Republicans should work with his party on the bill.
I'd make my friends on the Republican side and President Trump an offer. Let's turn over a new leaf. Let's start over.
But the longest-serving Republican senator says it's the Democrats who don't want to work with the GOP.
Tell me, who can you work with over there? I mean, they half the time they won't even come to meetings. So, you know, they're not serious legislators unless they get their way.
And Speaker Paul Ryan met with a handful of members of the pro-life caucus to talk about health care.
We want to make sure that the Hyde Amendment is protected. The Hyde Amendment makes sure that there's no federal funding for abortion in this country. And the concern is that the parliamentarian in the Senate would strip it out of the tax credits. It's not going to be acceptable to us as pro-life members back in the House without the Hyde Amendment.
I'm told Republicans are working on ways to keep that ban on abortion funding in the health care bill, and they may have a workaround plan to save it if the parliamentarian decides it violates specific rules that bills like this must follow. Lauren?
Jason, what do Americans, north, south, east, west, think of the Senate proposal?
We've seen a couple new polls out. An NPR NewsHour poll out today finds that only 17% of Americans support the bill. And also out today, a USA Today poll finding only 12% back it. But pro-lifers are very pleased. Even some have called it the most pro-life piece of legislation in recent history.
Correspondent Jason Calvi at the Capitol. Thank you, Jason.